Everyday Preparedness, City by City. Fairbanks, Alaska Edition, Final Installment. By Battlefield Radio. Welcome back. This is the final installment of the Everyday Prepping, City by City series. We have traveled from Miami to Washington, D.C., from Minneapolis to Portland, and each time we have looked at what preparedness really means in that place. We have covered storms, floods, unrest, power failures, and nuclear scenarios. Now we close in Fairbanks, Alaska, a place where preparedness is not a trend, not a political talking point, but a way of life. Fairbanks sits 200 miles south of the Arctic Circle. It is a city of extremes, where cold snaps hit 50 below, where summer fires turn skies orange, where rivers flood during breakup, and where supply chains stretch across thousands of miles of wilderness. Here, the lesson of preparedness is simple. Resilience is not optional. It is survival. This guide explains why Fairbanks is unique, looks at the disasters that shaped its history, highlights how emergency managers think about risk, and translates those lessons into steps you can take today. It is also a fitting close to this series, because nowhere else in America shows more clearly that preparedness is not paranoia. It is how people endure the hardest conditions and keep moving forward. Why Fairbanks is unique. Isolation. Fairbanks connects to Alaska's road system, but the system itself is fragile. The Alaska Highway runs thousands of miles through Canada, and seasonal roads can be cut by snow, ice, or flooding. When cargo flights or trucking lanes stall, shelves go bare faster than in the lower 48. Extreme cold. Winters here are punishing. At -40, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Vehicles fail to start without block heaters. Heating systems run continuously, and outages can be deadly in hours. Wildfire. Summers bring long daylight and dry conditions. Boreal forests of black spruce ignite easily, and lightning strikes spark massive burns. In 2004, more than 6 million acres went up across Alaska, blanketing Fairbanks in smoke for weeks. Flooding and breakup. Spring ice jams along the Chena and Tanana rivers can flood neighborhoods fast. In 1967, downtown Fairbanks was underwater, and thousands were displaced. Earthquakes. While Anchorage is the epicenter of most quakes, Fairbanks still feels major shocks. Infrastructure is always at risk in a seismically active state. Military presence. Fort Wainwright and Eielson Air Force Base anchor the region. They bring resources and stability, but also tie Fairbanks directly to national security planning. Case studies that still teach. 1967 Fairbanks flood. Heavy rain and snowmelt overwhelmed levees, sending water across the city. More than 7,000 people were displaced. The flood control project that followed reshaped local planning, but the memory still drives awareness. 2004 wildfires. The worst fire season in Alaska history. Millions of acres burned. Fairbanks endured weeks of choking smoke, cancelled flights, and closed schools. Residents who lacked masks or sealed rooms struggled. 2018 earthquake. Though centered near Anchorage, supply lines into Fairbanks were disrupted. Cracks in highways and damaged infrastructure reminded residents that distance does not mean safety. Recurring cold snaps. Periods of -50 temperatures freeze fuel lines, immobilize vehicles, and push power grids to the edge. Families who lack backup heat face life-threatening conditions quickly. The emergency management view. Emergency managers in Alaska work from assumptions that outsiders might call extreme. They assume outside help will be slow. They assume residents must be self-sufficient. They assume roads and airfields may close. All hazards planning. They prepare for flood, fire, earthquake, extreme cold, and public health crises. The protective actions overlap. Shelter in place when cold or smoke are severe. Evacuate during fire or flood. Maintain weeks of supplies because resupply is fragile. Continuity in cold. Warming centers are established in schools, public buildings, and armories. When heat fails, the city mobilizes fast to move vulnerable populations indoors. Smoke management. Wildfire smoke is treated like other places treat heat waves. Messaging focuses on respiratory safety and indoor sheltering. Unified command. State, local, tribal, and federal agencies coordinate through Alaska's Emergency Operations Center. Residents receive alerts through radio, wireless emergency alerts, and local systems. Preparedness culture. More than in most American cities, Alaska agencies openly tell residents to be their own first responders. That is not rhetoric. It is reality. What to worry about first in Fairbanks. Loss of heat. Heating outages are life-threatening in winter. Wildfire smoke. Weeks of poor air quality stress lungs and hearts. Flooding. Breakup season ice jams can overwhelm rivers fast. Supply chain disruptions. Groceries and fuel vanish quickly when transport is cut. Earthquakes. Rare but severe enough to damage key infrastructure. Isolation. Federal aid takes longer to arrive. Everyday preparedness in Fairbanks. Heat and shelter. Maintain your primary heating system and at least one backup. Stock firewood or propane if possible. Keep sleeping bags rated to -20 or colder for every person. Insulate and seal your home to conserve heat during outages. Food and water. 1 to 3 months of food is a reasonable baseline in Alaska. Stock calorie-dense staples, rice, beans, canned salmon, flour, sugar. Keep water in storage plus filters and purification tablets for river or snow melt. Power and light. Backup generators with treated fuel. Solar works in summer, but in winter fuel-based backups matter more. Flashlights, lanterns, and batteries. Communications. Radios for official alerts. Satellite messengers for redundancy if you can afford them. Written contact lists and agreed meet points. Transportation. Winterize every vehicle with block heaters, antifreeze, and survival kits. Keep tanks half full to prevent freeze-up. Store blankets, food, and flares in each vehicle. Health and medical. 30 days of prescriptions minimum. First aid kits with supplies for frostbite and burns. N95 masks for smoke. 6-week roadmap for newcomers. Week 1. Buy a -20 sleeping bag for each family member. Week 2. Add 2 weeks of shelf-stable food. Week 3. Buy treated fuel and a backup heater. Week 4. Assemble vehicle kits with blankets, food, and shovels. Week 5. Add water purification systems and 30 days of medicine. Week 6. Write a family plan and practice moving to a warming shelter. By the end, you are not overreacting. You are resilient. Advanced preparedness for seasoned Alaskans. Maintain drums of fuel, rotated and treated. Heat with wood as a backup if possible. Hunt and fish to supplement food stores. Create neighborhood barter systems. Reinforce roofs against snow load. Psychological preparedness. Fairbanks brings months of darkness and cold. Seasonal depression is real. Preparedness must include mental anchors. Keep light therapy lamps, hobbies, and routines. Check on neighbors. Community bonds are as protective as firewood. Normalcy bias kills in the north. Believing that the furnace will always run, that the power grid will never fail, or that the river will stay calm is dangerous. Right thresholds for action. If heat fails, move to the shelter within 1 hour. If air turns hazardous, seal the safe room. If gauges spike, prepare to relocate. Final broadcast. Fairbanks is the perfect place to close this series. It shows the truth of preparedness more clearly than any other city we have covered. Life here demands resilience. It demands supplies, skills, and community. It does not reward denial. From the Chaina River flood to the fires of 2004, From -50 cold snaps to the slow arrival of distant aid, Fairbanks proves the point. Preparedness is not paranoia. It is how people survive and thrive in one of the harshest environments in America. This is the last stop in the Everyday Prepping series. If you have followed from the beginning, you know the thread that ties Miami to Minneapolis, DC to Portland, and now to Fairbanks. The hazards are different, but the principles are the same. Stock food and water. Build redundant systems.
Anchor morale.
Connect with neighbors. Write and practice plans. Signals, storms, unrest, or fire, the message holds. Preparedness is calm action when systems wobble. It is the antidote to panic. The next series, Preparedness by Scenario, will break down real threats one by one, from blackouts to nuclear events, and show you exactly how to keep moving when systems fail. Battlefield Radio, where awareness meets action.